while photographing the way I do, but with my colors, this will change everything.
I got to see each frame, each position of its wing, and they're so beautiful that I have never seen before.
Being able to move quickly and working at my brain's pace and getting those shots in the moment. Having this camera allows you to go out and create the way you want to create.
Until you use it, you cannot even imagine what you have missed.
It's something I've never seen before in my entire life. It's something totally different.
Nikon Z6 III. Outperform.
Introducing ISO Color Edge. Precision is essential for any professional working with images. Whether you're an artist, a retoucher, or a visual effects specialist, you need to know that what you see at the start of a project is precisely what you'll get at the end. Color Edge monitors give consistent, reliable accuracy that guarantee no surprises within your color workflow. So what you see in real life is what you see on screen, and what you see on screen is what you see in real life. That's precisely why professionals all over the world trust ISO Color Edge for their image creation. ISO Color Edge. Discover living, breathing color.
I'm Mark Rizzetto from the Professional Photography Business Network.
A vibrant community from all around the world who's here to supercharge your business growth.
This is not an expensive one-size-fits-all course.
The PPBN is a network,
an online educational platform with training and resources to suit everyone.
from those just starting out to the seasoned pros.
You can tailor your journey to suit your individual business needs and challenges, all at your own pace.
And there's new content added every week. But success is only part of the experience.
To us, community is super important, as we all know business can be lonely.
So join us today. PPBN is your unfair advantage. Let's do this.
Hi everybody, welcome along to the judging of the underwater category, the 2026 Australian Photographic Prize. Thanks a lot for joining us today. We hope you enjoy some amazing underwater images that will be judged today. I'm here today on behalf of our competition director, Daniel Bingham, and our director of judging, Chris Anderson. Behind the scenes, we've got some people doing some wonderful work. Nathan, our broadcast producer, the wonderful Mel Sinclair will be our scribe. And my name's Adam Hurigan, and I'll be your panel mentor for this session. We'd like to give a big thank to our sponsors for their contributions to the prize, amazing support from right across the industry. A huge thank you goes to our major sponsor, Nikon Australia, who are awarding our overall Australian winner, Nikon product valued at up to $5,000. Thank you also goes to ISO for providing the Australian runner-up prize of a Color Edge CS2731 monitor valued at $2,000. And thanks also to the Professional Photographers Business Network, PPBN, have generously provided a 12-month membership valued at $1,000 for our international winner. So there's some amazing stuff right there. Today, we're here to judge the top 30 images in the underwater category. And these images showcase life underwater. It follows our classic post-production rules. And while images may include humans, the primary emphasis is on marine life. In this session, our expert panel of judges will assess each image scoring each image out of 100 with a comment for each. And in some cases, a challenge where we focus to discuss the image in more detail and then rescore. And we have an amazing panel of judges here who are just really excited to get through this. When the session is complete, we move to closed door judging, when the panel deliberates to determine the winner from the highest scoring images. Our winner, second and third place Australian images, along with the winning international image, will be revealed at our live awards ceremony on August 13. In a moment, we'll introduce you to this amazing judging panel for today. But first up, we're going to have a look at the top 30 images in underwater. So, Mel, you can take it away. It's amazing. What a great category we're going to have here today, everybody. And now, the fun part, you get to meet all these amazing people who are on the panel, our amazing judging panel, drawn here from Australia, internationally, all over the world. We've got Benjamin Liu, Diana Fernie, Harriet Tarbuck, Jasmine Sky Smith, Joe Howell, Christy Odom, Nuran Zulu, and Tony Hewitt. We're going to go around the judging panel, and I'm going to introduce everybody in the order that they're looking at me, their smiling faces on my screen. So Harriet, can I get you to start us off, please?
Hi everyone, I'm Harriet. I have been working in the photography industry for 20 years. I do various different things within the industry. I'm a commercial photographer, but I also run an organization called Photo Collective, which brings community together through various different activities and celebrations. And I have a podcast called When Harry Met Sally, which again is all about listening to people in the industry and just learning from the amazing people that are within our industry. So I am absolutely thrilled to be here today. And that, after looking at that slideshow, I'm just wowed by what's going to come out today on the panel.
Yeah, thanks so much, Harriet. Next up, we'll have Diana.
Oh, hello. I'm Diana Fernie. I am a prolific underwater photographer. I'm sort of semi-retired underwater and people. I'm from South Australia. So a lot of my underwater stuff now has kind of been put with the algal bloom. We've got a bit of a problem here, but I do travel a lot still. I've won a whole bunch of awards for my underwater photography, and I've represented Australia 3 times in the World Photographic Team and various other things as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. This is my zone.
Thanks so much, Diana. It's so great to have experts in their field, along with everybody's expertise on this panel. Next up is one of my favourite Australians who happens to be coming to us live from Turkey at the moment, Mr. Nuran Zulu.
Thank you. Hi everyone. This is Nuran. I've been in the industry since 1999. I run a photography commercial studio in Sydney CBD for a long time, especially specialized in jewelry photography. But along the side of that one, this commercial side, and I also run small cultural tours together with the history, photography, and the philosophy practices. I put them together and travel the world in the different areas. And now today we are underwater category is close to my heart, not as an underwater photographer because I haven't taken many photos, but looking at the connection of the people and the nature and knowing part of the things are very important for me and especially everyone. looking for originality, sensitivity, and a genuine connection with the natural world.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Nuran. Another one of our wonderful international judges who I just had the privilege of judging with on the previous category. Let's introduce Christy.
Hi, I'm Christy Odom. I'm calling in from Colorado. I'm part of the Nikon USA Ambassador team. I'm also an associate fellow for the International League of Conservation Photographers. I'm a wildlife photographer and filmmaker that focuses on conservation storytelling. But for me, underwater photography is like the first time I went underwater, I just fell in love with the marine world to the point where I had to have a camera. That's where the passion for photography started for me. And I ended up with my first underwater camera, and that led to a whole career in trying to protect the natural world. So I'm really excited to be judging the underwater category. Underwater photography is one of my favorite things to do. And thank you all for having me.
Thanks so much, Christy. It's a pleasure to have all of you guys from over here. Next up, the man with a mo, Mr. Benjamin Liu. Come on down.
A mo. Hey everyone, I'm Benjamin Liu. I am a commercial advertising photographer in Adelaide, South Australia, representing Team SA with Diana. Woohoo! I have been doing photography for, I don't know, 18, 19 years, something like that, and have entered the awards since the very beginning of my business. They're so valuable, and I really, really love this whole sort of thing and everything that people can learn. I've grown so much as a photographer from judging and being judged with my photos. So this is such a great thing I want to give back. And in terms of my relationship with the underwater, I have spent a lot of time in the water, especially growing up. I've got my diver's license, but I don't do a lot of underwater photography because I know it requires a lot of equipment, and I just enjoy looking at images instead.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Ben. Next up, we have Jasmine.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jasmine from Jasmine Sky Photography. I'm based in Perth, Western Australia, and I've been a photographer for about 14 years now. I jumped into underwater about 10 years ago, and it is my absolute passion. That's what I love to do. I guess what's different for this category is I photograph people in the water normally. So I shoot probably about 60% in the pool, 40% in the ocean. So over the years, I have definitely run into some animals across that time, but it is a little bit more out of my realm, but I love underwater. I know a lot of the technicalities, and I'm in awe of the images that have come across our screen. So yeah, I'm excited for judging today.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. It's going to take me all of my Simpson nerdom not to say welcome to Joey Jojo in the next one, but I think she probably is going to do it anyway. Jo Howe.
Hi there. I'm Jo Howe. I'm a photographer from Melbourne, Victoria. I specialise in animals, really. I've got a pet photography studio, and I work for Zoos Victoria, doing a lot of their in-house and conservation photography. I kind of conquered my fear of open water by starting diving, and I have my dive masters. And I really love the weird and wonderful wildlife that you find under the water. So yeah, I'm looking forward to judging these beautiful images that we saw in the run through, and congratulations to all the entrants.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Jo. And of course, final word again, I think I said this joke before, is Mr. Tony Hewitt.
Thanks, Adam. Tony Hewitt. I've been a professional for over 35 years, which sounds scary. I've lived in the water my whole life, but my photography has taken me as a professional up rather than down. Having said that, I do have three GoPros and a couple of underwater cameras. So I do love being under the water. I've photographed pretty much everything, and I've been in the role of a judge across most categories. So I'm excited because there's some real experts in this panel, but there's also diversity and experience across the board. So having seen most of what was in that, look at the run through, it was fascinating. And, I've seen a lot of those creatures underwater, if not most, and to see such great imagery excites me to be able to sit alongside my fellow judges and have a chance to make some comments and see where they go. So yeah, looking forward to it, Adam.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Tony. And thank you to all our judges. What an amazing range and a great panel. We're really excited to get going. So it's time to settle in and let's get judges. Judges, everybody ready? Okay. If we're all ready to go, I will put, I'm going to put Benjamin, Diana, Harriet, Jasmine, and Jo on the panel. And then Mel, we can have our first image, please.
Okay, welcome. The title of this image is Golden Cathedral, and the context statement, Giant Kelp Forest, Critically Endangered, Tasmania.
Just waiting on one more score here. Let's move on. Just get a score from you. Just last one to go. And we have a score of 79. Highly commended. And Harriet is first in. She would like to challenge this image. Harriet is at 83. You do have some support here, Harriet. Yeah, take it away.
Oh, I think I jumped in on someone else. There's someone who's just above me as well, so I'd love to hear from them as well. What a beautiful way to start the category. There is such a kind of dance in this image, and it's amazing to not see a huge amount of animal life actually in this first underwater image, which we know this is coming. But this beautiful kind of, ballet almost that I can see within this image. You can see movement, color, the angle that the photographer's chosen, like leaning up to kind of let that beautiful sunlight come through the top of the water there is stunning. And I think it deserves a solid silver here. So I'd love to hear what the other judges say.
Thanks very much, Harriet. Joe, you're at 78. What would you like to say to the image?
Yeah, so I put this as highly commended, and I think it's a really beautiful image. Those golden tones that are coming through the kelp, especially on the left, is just great. But what I struggle with in this is that you've got these beautiful shapes that Harriet talked about. That the end of the kelp that's closest to the camera is so out of focus, and it sort of creates this circle where you want to find something within those shapes, and there's just nothing right in the middle of the image, which sort of makes my eye struggle to really know where to rest. But I'm listening.
Thanks, Joe. Now, Jasmine, you're also well into the silver range here. What would you like to say?
Yeah, I really appreciated the color in this image. It's so beautiful and quite, it's quite technically advanced to get that kind of color in an underwater image. I think its focus is purely on the like seaweed thing that curves around, and it's just got a beautiful soft feeling. The background is kind of like really beautiful and soft and hazy, and the light coming through. It's clearly in water that's not that clear, but it's just so complementary to the whole feeling of the image. And I think that's what I was really congratulating the photographer for, because it's got a really beautiful sense to it. I would have gone higher if there hadn't have been maybe some of the distracting sort of elements up the top of the image, like the little white bits. But apart from that, I just think this is a stunning image.
Fantastic. Harriet, your right of reply.
Yeah, thanks for all those comments, guys. I don't mind the fact that it's that tail has gone into kind of soft focus. I think it sort of brings our attention to that beautiful red color that Jasmine was mentioned in the middle of the frame. And the vibrancy of the image in total. And for an underwater image that's actually quite murky in parts, the vividness and strength of that beautiful piece of kelp is, it feels alive, that piece of kelp. It feels like it's walking through the water. So I think it deserves a strong silver, everyone. I'd encourage you to come up.
Thanks very much, Harriet. Your score remains on 83. Everybody else, please rescore. The image remains at 79, a highly commended, but a great discussion by our panel. I'm sure the entrant will really appreciate all the words. So thank you very much for that. If we can have the next image, please. I'm going to rotate off Benjamin and bring on Christy.
Okay, the title of this image is Div Diving with the Bull Shark. And the context, bull shark, Carchinus lucas, Pacific Harbour, Fiji.
And we have a score of 79, a highly commended. And Harriet, yes, is again quick on the button, the challenge button here with a score of 86. Everybody else is, we have a 81 and 3 others in the highly commended range, Harriet. So off you go.
Yeah, this is like very, very impactful and struck me straight away. And the things that I'm really enjoying seeing in this image is the different forms of wildlife and animal life that are all coming together as well as human life. And what I'm really enjoying in the storytelling of the image, I think, is outweighing sort of everything else. There's been good control that I can see of the highlights looking up at the surface of the water. And then there's that, rubbish bin that's kind of weighing down there, which just brings that added element of real intrigue for me. So I think it's I put it in silver with distinction. I think it is, strong concept and execution and originality as well. So throwing it back out to the rest of the judges now.
Thanks, Harriet. Diana, you're at the other end. You're on 77.
Okay. So I think I agree with you on the storytelling. I think it's fantastic. And obviously, they're the guides that are coming up with the big pokey sticks to make sure that people don't get attacked by the bull sharks. I think for me, the biggest issue is that the shark's eye isn't sharp. And I think that's like fundamental 101, get the eye sharp. And he's just a little bit blurry overall. And that just distracts it for me. And it's perhaps maybe the black and white a little bit stronger as well. So it's a little bit muddy for me, but the storytelling is fantastic and how the procedure all works. Well done.
Christy, I might get a quick comment from you as well.
Yes, and I agree with what you both have said. I love the story. I would be a little bit more cautious about the post-processing and if you look around the bull shark, you see a little bit of a white line all the way around, and the way that the second shark in the background nose is just cut off a little bit. So I would have really liked to have seen that depth of tonal variety, some more blacks and some more whites, and maybe a little bit of a softer hand on that edit. But great moment.
All right, and Harriet, we'll go back to you for your right of reply, please.
Sorry, just finding a mute again. I absolutely hear all those things, and thanks for bringing them up. I definitely feel like that there is the black and whites could have maybe been punched a little harder. Yes, it's quite a grey image, but I feel like it kind of adds a little bit of atmosphere. I see that the shark is a little bit soft on the eye, and perhaps I can absolutely understand, Diana, for an underwater photographer, if that's a big no-no. I sort of saw movement in that, and I sort of saw the shark coming over and it being overwhelming almost a little bit, and actually a little bit of movement. But I'm listening to you as well. Look, I think that it's a very impactful image, and I think it belongs in at least a silver range if you can't come to silver with distinction. It is really showing us about the underwater world and what the human kind is trying to do to kind of help work with it or control it. So maybe have another think and let's try and maybe get it to silver. We're 1 point away, guys. 1 point.
Fantastic. Thanks, Harriet. Harriet's score at 86 will hold. Everybody else, please rescore. And it has gained that extra point, 80 for a silver award. Congratulations to the entrant. Another great conversation for everybody. Harriet, I'm going to give you a little break and bring Tony onto the panel. We have the next image, please.
Okay, this image is titled Into the Vortex, and its context, a bait ball of black-striped Salamas, Galapagos.
Waiting on one final score here. And we have a score of 76. I highly commended. Congratulations to the entrant. Diana, can I get you to make a comment on this image for me, please?
Yeah, I think the colours are beautiful. I mean, that's the colour of blue. There's not a lot of sort of light coming in or artificial light coming in on that. The way the fish are moving and the way that you've caught the diver coming into it is a lovely pose. It really is. But I do feel it's a little bit grainy. So, and I feel that it could be a little bit more, it could be a bit brighter as well from the coming up from the bottom, so you can appreciate more the school of fish coming round.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Great entrant information for the entrant. Diana, I'm going to get you to have a break and we'll bring Nuran onto the panel. We have the next image, please.
This image is titled Vertical Embrace, and its context, two octopus mating on vertical wall, River Rilavegego, the archipelago, Mexico.
And we have a score of 78. I highly commend it. And Joe, I might get you to make a comment on that for me if that's all right. Thanks. Oh, Joe.
Absolutely. Look, congratulations on presenting such a unique little scene. It's really quite beautiful, and the shape of the bombi or whatever that the octopuses are on the side of is great. I feel like maybe if you'd backed up a little bit, it feels like you're just a little bit too close to the subject to actually reach that minimum focal distance. And a little bit of finessing with the light. There's quite a harsh little spot on the octopus at the bottom that where you can see quite bright flash coming through on there, but a really lovely image with lots of movement going through that suits this subject really well. So congratulations.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Joe. Can we have the next image, please? I'm going to rotate off Jasmine here and we'll bring Benjamin back onto the panel.
Okay, this image is titled Sea Lion, Espanola, Galapagos, and it has no supplied context statement.
And we have very consistent scoring here. Three of our judges in the silver range with an 80 for a silver. Congratulations to the entrant. Tony, do you mind if I get you to give a quick comment on this image?
Not at all. Look, I think the reason this is worthy of a silver is it comes with instant impact. There's a lovely connection between the photographer and the seal, I should say. I love the post-production in terms of its sharpness on the face. although there is maybe some color dropout issues that you could look at towards the end of the flipper, and just watch your cropping, because at the top and the bottom it's just a little bit tight. If you could have pulled back a little bit, but then hey, maybe that would have taken away the impact, because the way this little fella's or little lady's in our face really makes it sing. So worthy of a silver.
Congratulations again to the entrant. Thank you for the comments. I'm going to take Joe. You can have a little bit of a break. I'm going to bring Harriet back onto the panel. And I'll have the next image, please.
Okay, the title of this image is Bull Shark, and the context statement, Bull Shark, Carcharinus lucas, Pacific Harbour, Fiji.
And we have a score of 78. I highly commended. Congratulations again to the entrant. And I might get Nuran. Do you mind having a quick chat about this image? Give a little comment for the.
It's a beautiful image. I mean, it's like a gorgeous, like a black and white works very well. But again, we talk about this. Is sharpness is the key in this sort of images. I think, like the shark is not that sharp, and that takes the attention away from the entire image for me.
Fantastic. Some great advice there again. I am going to rotate. Christy, you can have a little break again. I'm going to bring Jasmine back onto our panel, and we'll have the next image, please.
Okay, this image has no supplied title, but it does have a context statement, and that is, schools of fish live protected by jetty pylons, Rapid Bay, South Australia.
Okay, thank you, judges. We have an initial score of 81 here. And I'm just seeing if there's anybody that wants to talk or challenge this image. No, no, okay. Well, we have a very strong, nice silver. We've got 3 judges up in that range. Jasmine, would you like to make some comments about this image, please?
Yeah, sure. I thought this was a really striking black and white, beautifully done. To improve, again, I would just sort of straighten up the lines, just the tilting of the jetty lines just kind of makes you kind of want to turn a little bit. So yeah, I would definitely straighten up those lines because it's a really strong image. Love what you've done.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for those words. I'm going to, Jasmine, actually, I might give Harriet a little quick break. Actually, no. And I'm going to bring Diana back on. It's all right? So? No, sorry, I gave Harriet a break and brought Diana back on. Goodness me. Next image, please. Sorry about that.
This image is titled The Long Way Home, and its context, New Zealand longfin eel endangered New Zealand.
We have an announced score here of 79. And let's see if someone wants to. And Tony, yes, Tony's hit the challenge button. Tony is on 83. You have some support, another person on 83 and 3 others in the highly commended range. So Tony, take it away.
Thanks, Adam. First of all, with the long fin eel, my understanding is obviously it's in danger, but also the reason it's called the long way home is partly due to the fact that I believe these eels travel long distances back to where they originate from, which is they start on inland waters, which is probably what we see here, and then they travel north of New Zealand to somewhere in the Pacific. And when I look at this picture, technically it may not be as perfect as we would like it to be, but when we look at our silver definition, it is a strong and creative image, and it does have clear strengths in concept, technique, or impact. So I think there's strengths in concept and in impact. Technique maybe could be slightly better that when you're looking on the eel itself, there's a little bit of noise. But the mystery, that's the drama that comes out of this movement of the eel on the surface of the riverbed or the lake bed or whatever, I get a sense of where it is and where it's coming from, and I get a feeling that it's on the move. So I think there's a few things that are maybe sliding under the radar that, when we look closely at this image, are worth rewarding in terms of an underwater wildlife picture. And the only thing could hold me back from going higher is some of those slight technical issues.
Thanks, Tony. Diana, you're on the other in the highly commended range. Would like to have a chat about this?
Yeah, absolutely. So yes, I must admit I don't know too much about these eels. So I appreciate that information, Tony. I think what's held me back, is that the technical issues with it. It's not particularly sharp and there's a lot of noise, but I keep wanting to look at the brown rocks in front of it. That's where my eye's being brought to most of all. So I feel that it could be cropped, and I don't know that reflection on the surface gives it a lot of benefit either. So I would tend to crop that down too.
Yeah, thanks, Diana. Jasmine, you also wanted to have a comment. You're on 83.
Yeah, I was also on 83, Tony. I really think that this image has a beautiful palette, like the tones in that like murkiness, and like the eel coming through, like the lighting of the natural light is beautiful. I feel like it's sharp enough. I feel like it's got so much going on, and it's unique, and it's a very technically hard place to be taking a photo. And I have to say, like, there is some technicalities that I was like, oh, torn with, but I again was rewarding the creativity and yeah, just the beautifulness of the colors through those little fish. Like, and I love the reflection, actually. I think that needs to stay personally. But yeah, cropping from the right would have made me go higher again.
Thanks, Jasmine. Nuran, did you want to add anything very quickly?
I would like to, and thank you, Tony and Jasmine, for your comments. Just one thing about the cropping, I should say that rocks actually make this image. It's not about the specimen only or like eel itself. It's where it is. Is like I was bit shy with the notes. I'm definitely going to go the silver range, but that cropping is actually doesn't make the image as strong as it is.
Thanks, Nuran. Tony, I've had your right reply.
Yeah, thanks, everyone. I think the Nuran said it, that the having the rocks on the right, if we crop right in, if we take the surface and the reflection out, if we take what's on the right, it's a picture of the eel's head. And technically, it's good, but not great. But this isn't a picture of the eel's head. This is a picture of the eel heading on its way home. It needs a direction, and this gives it direction. The clarity on the right, the clarity of above the river rocks gives us a direction, and it gives us like the eel is moving, it's heading home. That's where it's going. It's almost like showing the way. The reflection on the surface, it gives us an understanding of the sense of place. This is a shallow waterway. It could be a riverbed, it could be a lake, but this is where they start before they begin their long journey home. They come into these inland places, and then they end up going back out to the sea and heading off. So I think all of those elements that are in the construction of the image are actually part of what we're supposed to be reading into the picture. And as I said, without the technical holdbacks, and they're not terrible ones, it could be a bit better technically. I would have been a way higher score, way higher, because this is a great documentary image of an underwater animal. And therefore I think it's worthy of at least a silver, and perhaps I could have looked at something a bit higher.
Thanks very much, Tony. The image currently scores 79. Tony, your score will hold on 83. Everybody else, please rescore. And we have some definite movement. A solid silver at 82. Thank you very much, and well done to the entrant. I'm going to make a couple of changes to the panel here today. Nuran and Tony, we might get you to have a quick break, and I'm going to bring back Harriet and Joe. We can have the next print or image, please.
The title of this image is Breath, and there is no supplied context statement.
We currently have an announced score of 77. Would anybody like to challenge that image? Yes, I've got a challenge here from Jasmine. She's put her hand up. She's on 84. You have 3 other scores in the highly commended range. So go for it.
Yeah, look, I really think that this should be at least a silver. I was rewarding the fact that you could see this on a wall, on somebody's wall. It's like so fun. There's movement, there's color, there's there's so much to enjoy about it. If you move around, like there's certain fish that are fully in focus, and then there's so much movement in others. I just think, yeah, definitely have another look at this. I think it's definitely worthy of a silver.
Thanks, Jasmine. Ben, you're right on the average there. Can we get you to have a chat about this image?
Yeah, look, it's very striking. This image, it really made me look further and look into it, and I really enjoyed that process of looking around the image and trying to find a focal point, but I couldn't find a focal point, and I sort of just got lost in it. And there are little bits on the right where they're sort of highlighted fish, but they are not in focus. They're not the focus. So I guess I'm just a little bit lost in the image, but that's not to say it isn't beautiful. It's definitely highly commended, and it's a nice image to look at.
Thanks, Ben. Joe, do you have anything you'd like to add here?
I keep confusing my comment button with my mute button. So I've struggled to find somewhere for my eye to rest, and the lightness of the bottom corner and some of the random fish that are hitting the light there just draws my eye down there where I'm not rewarded with anything in focus. And there's some quite distracting little scratches that I guess take away from some of the magic of the scene, because you can see that it's been photographed through a tank. I do appreciate that it's got some merits of some beauty to it, but I'm not quite convinced yet. But I would love to hear some more convincing argument.
Jasmine, you can have your right of reply, please.
Yeah, sure. I'm not convinced that it is shot through a tank. You definitely can get those lines with a slower shutter. I just love the initial impact of like the fact that all the fish could almost be the individual scales on a fish. And yeah, it is a little bit chaotic and a little bit like, where am I going? But you can also like zoom in and like almost travel with the fish in this. I mean, I'm just applauding the creativity, and I would definitely go up if I were you, but it's your choice. I think it's great.
Image currently sits on 77. Jasmine will hold her score on 84. Everybody else, please feel free to rescore. And we've gotten one more point, 78, and still in the highly commended range. Every point counts, and well done to the panel for a great discussion. Lots of stuff in there for the entrant to really take on board. I'm going to give Ben a bit of a break here, and we'll bring Christy back onto the panel. We have the next image, please.
Okay, the title of this image is Smokescreen, and its context, Port Jackson's shark Cabbage Tree Bay Aquatic Reserve, Sydney.
We have an announced score of 83, a silver award. Anybody wish to add anything to that? Christy, I might get you to make I don't know, Diana's just got, she's in there. Better than late than never. No, Diana's winning a challenge and she's on 86. She's on silver distinction. You have everybody else in the silver range, Diana. So take it away.
So this image, I mean, I think that must be an octopus that the Port Jackson shark has got there. This would have happened very quickly, okay? And it seems to me that the photographer has actually managed to hold their cool and take the photo, because when this action happens really fast, you tend to panic and your settings are all wrong and you miss the shot. Well, they haven't missed the shot. And the drama that's in this with the ink from the octopus, and then the other two fish swimming by going, yo, dude, you know, you got it. And I think it's great. I think it tells everything that there is to tell about, you know, the shark catching its prey, and that the control that's been taken without the panic going into it. I think it's worthy of a few more points, guys.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. Jasmine, you're at the other end in silver on 80.
Yeah, I totally feel like I maybe underscored, but I think what was holding me back was the handling with the color, particularly like around the edges and kind of it just doesn't feel finessed, even though I totally appreciate that this scene would have been an incredible moment and the positioning and everything is strong and well done. And I definitely gave it a silver for that reason. I just felt like the editing let this one down for me.
Joe, you're quite close to the average on 82 there. Did you want to add anything?
Yeah, I just want to say thanks for challenging this one. I think I was held back a little bit by the treatment of I think it's the snapper up the top and some of the fringing on the edge, but there's some restrictions with technology that we've got to forgive, I think, when we're underwater. I think I'll be coming up a little bit on this one. I think the colouring in the water, it's obviously a reasonably murky dive spot and we haven't got a lot of light in there, but the light that's falling through that ink and where the highlights sit and hit the octopus that's being well and truly munched on, I think is great. So yeah, thanks for challenging.
Fantastic. Diana, you're right of reply.
Yeah, so I think regarding the colour of the water, I mean, that is the colour that the water would have been. There's been no treatment done to it. And the murkiness is coming from the fact that it's like this big catastrophic thing has happened. So you've got ink everywhere and the sand's being thrown in the air and all the rest of it. And I think it adds to the drama, but the colour is the colour of the water. It is completely natural. I think it's absolutely caught brilliantly by somebody who managed to hold their cool, as I said.
Fantastic. Thank you, Diana. Your score holds at 86. Everybody else, please rescore. And we have a successful challenge up to 86 with the silver with distinction. A great discussion, everybody. Well done to the entrant. A very, very solid score right through our judges. I'm going to give Jasmine a quick break and bring Tony back onto the panel. Can we have our next image, please?
Okay, the title of this image is Hold Fast, and the context, Potbelly Seahorse on Sea Tulip Cluster, Botany Bay, Sydney, Australia.
And we have a very consistent scoring from our judges. We have an 81 and a silver award. Congratulations. Diana, you're right on the average there at 81. I'd love to get a comment from you.
Yeah, so the seahorse is really nice, and behind that sort of bit of slow shutter speed, his eye is sharp, and obviously with his yellow, he really stands out. I like the blue long exposure behind him. What's really holding me back though is all the soft corals, the pinks. I think are a bit too dominant, especially the one on the right with its curve. So I think if that was cropped in, then I think it would be much stronger.
Thank you so much, Diana. Some more great feedback there. I'm going to give Joe a quick rest and bring Neuron back onto the panel, and we'll have the next image, please.
Okay, this image is titled Eye from the Den, and its context, eye of a southern keeled octopus peering out from its den in Port Hughes, South Australia.
We have a score of 77, are highly commended. Let's look across our panel and see if anybody... Oh, Harriet is very quick again. Very good. Harriet's on 82. She's going to make a challenge and take it away.
Yeah, I just want to, because I'm in that silver range, I think I do want to challenge it. I'm not going to say what I see that's maybe what the other judges have seen, but I just want you to, like, the macro nature of this is really beautiful, and I just want the entrant to kind of know that. The light that's falling on there is really subtle and really lovely and well handled, and those lovely kind of pink and pale hues that are coming through are really, really beautiful. There's a beautiful fall off into that background and so much lovely texture around. So I just wanted to be able to vocalize that. And I do think it's worth a silver. I'll throw it back to the panel.
And Nuran, you're on 72. Would you like to make any comments here?
Thank you. I would like to make a comment. I'll put in the pre-words, but like a beautiful image, the colors work very well, but the macro nature of it is like should be considered very important in this image. But unfortunately, the photographer missed opportunity because of the eye is not sharp, and also the rest of the elements is not sharp as well. Only a few fragments of it. But the thing is like for impact, for a title, for an image, for aesthetics, I think we need to have a sharper eye. First of all, without that one, the image is actually doesn't say much to me. But I'm happy to listen. The post production is a bit overdone, but I'm happy to listen, and I like to hear other judges' comments.
Thanks, Nuran. Diana, would you like to make some comments here?
Yes, I think part of the strength of this image is the moment that has been caught. So to actually see this, the eye popping through its legs is actually quite unusual. And I mean, I know these creatures down at Port Hughes very well, and I've never actually seen this before. However, I agree with Nuran. I think you've got the focus pipper on the little pinnacle at the top of its eye rather than on its eye itself, and its eye isn't sharp.
Thanks very much. Harriet, you're right to reply.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks for bringing that knowledge, Diana, to the image as well. That definitely solidifies it in where I've put it into a kind of mid-range silver. I mean, yes, the eye's not sharp, and it's called Eye from the Den. So it's going to be a hard one convincing everyone to move from that if that's what if that's where you're going to stay. I understand that. I think that's something for maybe the photographer to take on. I just want to say again that I think, and considering this is a really rare moment that Diana said, perhaps we can give the photographer some kudos for kind of actually being able to capture this and being able to create such a beautiful image of this scene.
Thanks, Harriet. Your score is going to remain at 82. Everybody else, please rescore your image. And we've gained one more point again. 78 are highly commended. A great discussion and some wonderful feedback from right across of our range of judges. Diana, I might give you a little bit of a break here for a second, and I might ring, Joe. No, actually, sorry, I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to bring Jasmine back. Sorry, Joe, I gave you a false start there. Let's give us the next image, please.
Okay, the title of this image is Fairy Floss, and its context statement is Western Australian Seahorse, Perth, Western Australia.
All right, I think we're going to have a bit of a talk about this. We have an announced score of 86, a silver with distinction. But I already have Nuran with his hand straight up in the air. Nuran's at 92 for gold. Nuran, you have support from with a 90 and also 88, 83 and 78. But Nuran, take it away.
Hello, judges. Come on, judges. Look at this photograph. I mean, and the color, the composition, and everything works beautifully in here. And what is gold? It's reads in here, outstanding image showing excellence in concept, craft, and impact. This one ticks every boxes. The palette is beautiful. Composition is gorgeous. The flow of this image is great. I can get in this image and look and like minutes, maybe hours. You can find the new stories. Now we are on 86. Is like, but I urge you to come out a little bit higher to gold range, and just like I like to hear more, and I'm going to talk more as well. Thank you.
No worries. Harriet, do you mind just having a quick chat just about this? You're at the other end of the scale, down and highly commended.
Yeah, look, I was probably a bit harsh on it, and thanks for challenging it, Nuran. I'm looking at a few of the technical imperfections. Like I can't stop being drawn to those fish right in the center, which are blown out, and they've lost detail in the sides of them. And I just thought that the post-production might have been a little heavy-handed. It feels quite sharpened. The right-hand side of the image is actually very delicate and stunning and really soft. But around the seahorse itself, it's quite, it feels quite sharpened and perhaps a little bit over processed. However, I do think I've been a little harsh, and I'm really listening to everyone else because it's a striking image.
Yeah, we might go around a few more of our judges as well. Jasmine, you're also in gold here on 90. Would you like to have a chat about it?
Yeah, I was right there with you, Nuran. Beautiful palette. Like, it's so hard to get this color so perfect underwater. It's mind-blowingly beautifully done. I would have gone higher with my score because of the little fish, but zooming into them, like I would say, it's like the smallest amount. And they're actually a part of the story as well. I just think it absolutely deserves to be up in gold. So yeah.
Thanks,
let's
Jasmine. Tony, you're also in silver distinction on 88. Would you like to add to this?
Yeah, look, I think it is just the most beautiful picture to look at. And you know, we as a judge, we sit here and we can zoom into 100%. We can go around, and I can see where there's been some sharpening done. And there's, you know, if you want to get super picky, there is some slight inconsistencies in where that's done. The three fish, are they blowing out? Well, if you go and look at it at 100,000%, yes, there's some white, no pixels, but by gosh, this is one of the most beautiful underwater pictures I've ever seen. This would be a picture in a child's room. It would be a backdrop to a Disney movie. There is a narrative. Seahorses historically are not easy to find, certain species, and I'm sure Diana and Christy might be able to expand on that. But, you know, the fish are easy to see, but the seahorse not. And I kind of like that narrative, even the fact that there's a fish above the seahorse, and that's sharp as well. The only animals in this picture are sharp. And I think that's pretty bloody good. And then you look at that color palette, that's fantastic. The lighting in this, apart from that shine, is brilliant. I gave it 88 because I was being tough on the technicalities. And now part of me is thinking I was being a bit of a bugger, because really, when I sit back and look at it, I would hang this on my granddaughter's room ahead of most of my pictures. So I'm going to go to gold.
Fantastic. Nora, it's your turn to bring it home.
And everything said nicely, I think is we're going to go gold ranges. As Tony said, that technicality, if we just think about technicality, is really, you can find little things. But and most important thing about this image is like imagination, you know, like image in an image and an image, and almost like shows like the universe. I'm looking at the Milky Way. It's gorgeous image and deserve a gold for my liking.
Nora, your score on 92 will hold. We're currently at 86, the silver distinction. Please rescore, everybody. And he's done it. We have a 90 and a gold award. Congratulations to the entrant, and what a great discussion from all of our panel. Some wonderful feedback from right across the experience of our panel. I'm going to make some a quick judge change again. I might get Harriet to have a quick rest, and we'll bring Ben back on. And next image, please.
Okay, this image has no title or context statement.
Waiting on one more score here. And we have very consistent scoring. We have an 80, a silver award. Congratulations to the entrant. Tony, you're very close to the average there on 81.
Yeah, I love this. I'm not sure, might be a stonefish, maybe not, but it's that sort of type of animal. One of the girls can nod if I'm right. I think cropping off from the left and the bottom and just bringing this into the animal, the dark area on the left is not needed. Come in a little bit, maybe 1/5 or 20% of the image. Come up from the bottom about 20%. The eye's sharp, and just be careful with your sharpening software. It does, when you go in and look at it, you can see what's been done. It's not terrible, but you can sort of see it. It just takes away from that natural feel. But yeah, great image, beautiful lighting, eyes sharp. And the fact that this is an animal that's hard to see, kind of hidden in the shadows, but the lighting is bringing it out. Yeah, well done.
Fantastic. Some great advice there again. I'm going to give Christy a little bit of a break, and I will bring back Joe onto the panel. We can have the next image, please.
Okay, the title of this image, Meet Me Under the Dock, and the context, Grey Nurse Shark in Sydney.
And we have a score of 75, a highly commended award. Congratulations to the entrant. Jasmine, you're very close to the average there. Can I get you to make a comment on this image?
Yeah, sure. Uh, I would start off to improve this image. I would absolutely bring down the distraction of the highlights at the top of the image, and also probably the harsh black pylon to the right. Uh, in terms of the actual shark as well, you probably want to just have the whole shark in focus, or particularly the face of it. But I totally appreciate they're moving fast, so well done.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for that image. We're going to take a quick break now to see some words from our sponsors. We'll be right back with the rest of this category.
Wow, photographing the way I do, but with my colors, this will change everything.
I got to see each frame, each position of its wing, and they're so beautiful that I have never seen before.
Being able to move quickly and working at my brain's pace and getting those shots in the moment. Having this camera allows you to go out and create the way you want to create.
Until you use it, you cannot even imagine what you have missed.
It's something I've never seen before in my entire life. It's something totally different.
Nikon Z6 III. Outperform.
Introducing ISO Color Edge. Precision is essential for any professional working with images. Whether you're an artist, a retoucher, or a visual effects specialist, you need to know that what you see at the start of a project is precisely what you'll get at the end. Color Edge monitors give consistent, reliable accuracy that guarantee no surprises within your color workflow. So what you see in real life is what you see on screen, and what you see on screen is what you see in real life. That's precisely why professionals all over the world trust ISO Color Edge for their image creation. ISO Color Edge. Discover living, breathing color.
I'm Mark Rizzetto from the Professional Photography Business Network.
A vibrant community from all around the world who's here to supercharge your business growth.
This is not an expensive one-size-fits-all course.
The PPBN is a network,
An online educational platform with training and resources to suit everyone.
from those just starting out to the seasoned pros.
You can tailor your journey to suit your individual business needs and challenges, all at your own pace.
And there's new content added every week. But success is only part of the experience.
To us, community is super important, as we all know business can be lonely.
So join us today. PPBN is your unfair advantage. Let's do this.
Welcome back to the underwater section here at the Australian Photographic Prize. We've made a couple of judge changes while we're away. We'll have Ben, Diana, Harriet, Joe, and Nuran on panel as we see the next image.
Okay, the title of this image is Big Eyes, and its context, Southern Elephant Seal Pup, Falklands.
We have an announced score of 84, a silver award. Just going to look across the room here. Anybody wish to challenge that one? Diana, I might get you to challenge that one. You're the high mark here on 87.
All
You have
right. Well,
you have support here. You have another judge on 86,
yeah.
and then everybody else in the strong silver range. So take it away.
So I think the overall quality of this image is phenomenal. Okay. I think when you look at the detail of the seal's fur, you can see every little strand. And I mean, who doesn't want to take that face and kiss it? You know, his whiskers are sticking out from the little furry bits in his little whiskers, and his nose is all cute, and his eyes. I know that he's slightly tilted. We are never going to stop that. And there's a little bit of the kelp is in front of his mouth. Well, that is what it is. That's nature for you. But his whiskers are coming over the front of the kelp, so he's that close to it. Slight drawback is that little bit of backscatter just over on the left. But I think that he is a very beautifully shot seal. And it was just a moment in time where the photographer managed to just get his camera right in front, or her camera right in front of him. And actually the seal was probably looking at himself thinking, what a handsome fellow I am. So I think he deserves to come up. I think it's a beautifully shot image.
Thanks very much, Diana. Benjamin, you're almost at silver distinction there on 84. We might get you to make a comment.
Yeah, I'll come up. I'm glad we've got an extra opportunity to look at this image. I love the detail in his eyes, or her eyes. They're there. They're not just black or grey or whatever. You know, there's so much detail. Just the eyes, like entire universe. When I first saw this image and it popped up, it's like, wow, right? Oh, there's a seal looking at me, and I can just imagine taking that photo and be like, oh, look at this beautiful kelp, and the next thing there's a seal looking at me, like, holy crap. And it's just beautifully captured. I love how sharp everything is where it needs to be. I love the tilt because it's playful. And yeah, I gave it an 84, so I was pretty much right there anyway. I think I needed just another opportunity, a little bit, tiny little bit of convincing to come up to the next level, and I'm definitely going to be there.
Joe, you're in silver distinction already at 86. What would you like to add to the conversation?
I just want to say that, yeah, thanks for, I'm glad that this has been challenged. I just want to point out, as Ben mentioned, the detail in those eyes. Seal eyes are notoriously hard to photograph, and to actually see some detail in that iris without them looking like those weird sort of holy depths that they sometimes look like from, you know, their ability to see in dark water. And that little detail where the eyebrow whisker is just touching the water and making a little highlight, the more I look at this, the more there is to enjoy. And I mean, the backscatter, yes, it would have been great to get rid of that. And I think you are allowed to do this in the category. And if that had happened, it would be an even higher image for me. But I love the fact that you can't see anything else of this animal. It's almost like a mask has been stuck underwater for you to look right into. And I just want to go boop. But yeah, love it.
Fantastic. Diana, if you give your right a reply, please.
Yes, well, I agree. I'm looking at those eyebrows now and going, wow, there's so the detail that's in that fur, and you know, you can see every little pore where the whiskers are coming out, and the crease over his nose, and the detail and the quality of the photograph. I just think he's phenomenal, and yes, of course, the eyes as well. I think he's a beautiful. I think even with the backscatter, I think for this image you can actually get away with that. I think to have cleaned it up would have been, you know, it would have lost a little bit of the enjoyment. So I think it's a very beautiful image.
Fantastic. Thank you, Diana. Your score at 87 holds, and everybody else can please rescore. And has been a successful challenge. We now have an 87, a silver with distinction. Congratulations to the entrant, and what a great discussion from all of our judges. Thank you so much. I'm going to swap Nuran out, and I am going to bring Christy back onto the panel, please. We'll have the next image, please.
Okay, this image is titled The Winged Wanderer. and its context, Indo-Pacific violet blanket octopus, Tremoctopus gracilis, Taiwan.
We have an outscore of 83 and a silver award. But I think we might be talking about this a little bit more. Yes, Ben's got his hand up straight away. Benjamin's on 88. You do have support from Diana at 86 and also another judge at 84. Take it away.
I have no experience photographing this dark in any anything ever, except maybe an event. And I can't imagine how hard it would be to actually take this this image, let alone just be sitting there in the dark water, shitting myself because it's so dark and I can't see anything. And then, and the next man, this octopus comes up and it's like, oh hey, I'm here, whatever, you know. And it's just, I don't know, it's just initial impact here is just so it's right there. And I love how there is still detail in the little spots around in the black. I'm glad it's not completely black in this image, because there's other little things here and there which, you know, the light has picked up. I can't really fault it all that much. The colors are just so gorgeous. I know nothing about this octopus. But yeah, I believe it is in the silver distinction range. We're so close there, and I encourage you guys to have a closer look at this and come up.
Thanks, Ben. Joe, you're at the other end. You're in the highly commended at 78.
Yeah, I'm glad we get to sit with this a bit longer. I guess what's holding me back out of a higher scoring range is there's something that just feels a little incomplete about the lighting across here, and the shallow depth of field. While there's a little bit of detail in those beautiful the translucent skin, it's not falling across the rest of the subject, where I really want to drink in all the beautiful detail that this creature is giving to us. And I'm finding, you know, I follow the top tentacle along, and there's a bit of chromatic aberration at the very tip of that, which I assume is that not movement. But I'm listening because I really love the colors, but it's just not got that punch that I'm really looking for at this stage. But I am listening.
Might go to a few more judges on this. Christy, you're on 84, just at the top of silver.
Yes, I want to talk about just the level of difficulty here of photographing a metallic surface with flash in the depths of dark underwater. I went 84. I think I'm way low. I think I definitely need to go up to distinction. But the textural elements, the metallic feel, I love the little imperfections. It makes it feel real to me. The little tiny bits of backscatter, I think, is part of that story. And gosh, the angle they must have had to use, and to get all these different metallics and no flashes back with hot spots into the camera. Like, this is a really well done image, and I definitely think it's deserving of a silver with distinction.
Fantastic. Thank you, Christy. And Diana, you're also in silver with distinction. Would you like to add anything?
Yeah, so basically this is a blanket octopus, and it's done basically during what's called black water diving, which is done after dark. And you go in the water and you've basically got this big mooring buoy at the top with lights coming down, and you just go and float off into the dark with only your computer to tell you what depth you're at, okay, if it beeps you. So it takes a little while to get really used to this kind of diving. Now, the blanket octopus, in all the blackwater dives I've done, I've never seen a blanket octopus, but it's like the creme de la creme. It's the big excitement. People come back, I saw the blanket octopus. So it's going back, you know, it's a little bit of that panic shot as well. It's like, you know, crap, this is the blanket octopus and it's coming towards me and I'm going to hit the shutter. So it's it's sort of a panic shot too. You've basically got one lot of settings, your strobes are set, and bam, as it goes past you, that's the picture that you've got. So there is a level of, you know, difficulty that goes in it and rareness as well. So yes, I've put it into silver distinction.
Fantastic. Diana, Ben, your right of reply.
Yeah, I think it's I think yeah, just knowing how this is taken, because I have no idea. Like, I'm just thinking I'm just floating there in the dark, you know, what is up, what is down, where is what? Oh my God, there's an octopus. Whoa, let's take the photo quick. You don't have time to do your settings or anything like that. So just that technical that technicality alone is quite amazing. Looking at the lighting, I don't think you could light this subject any better unless you took it out the water and you put it in the studio and you put all this lighting on it. I think given what you have to work with, this is done as good as it could ever be. I can't see the chromatic aberration. It could just be color, because there's so many colors in this thing. It's just, it could just be that color. And so I guess in that regard, I didn't notice it. And if it's there, I guess I can forgive it. And yeah, shooting with like flash, trying to focus on something like this, just trying to focus on it, and you're using flash. I mean, like, we're out in the air and we can get our little focus thingies and, you know, we can do whatever, but you're underwater, you can't really do it. Just beautiful image. Really needs to be rewarded, needs to come up a hell of a lot. So yeah, thanks for all the other comments.
Thanks, Ben. Your score at 88 holds. Everybody else, please rescore. And we do have a silver with distinction, 86. Another great discussion, and congratulations to the entrant. Well done. I am going to, Ben, you can have a little rest. I'm going to bring Tony back onto the panel. We have our next image, please.
This image is titled Killer Roundup, and its context, Killer Whale, Norway.
We have an announced score of 79, I highly commended, but I definitely think that we're going to have a discussion about this image. Diana is straight up away. She is at a 91 on gold.
Yeah,
so I would love to.
I've never had the privilege of photographing the orcas, but I know from all the stories from everybody how incredibly difficult it is. I know that they'll go to Norway and they'll jump in the water and they may see one at a distance. So they've gone all that way, spent a lot of money with all the gear, and they can't even photograph it at all. So I know how difficult this is. I think that the movement of the fish at the bottom, I think, is fantastic, because obviously it's going to catch those fish, and they're all swimming away like crazy, and you've got that movement. I'm not particularly keen on the background, but I don't think that you can do anything other than get what you can get when you can get it. I think it looks like there's been sort of no post-production done on this. So I think it's a very difficult shot.
Thanks, Diana. Tony, you're in a highly commended range. What would you like to say?
Yeah, I suspect I was listening to Diana, and I was floating between 78 and 88. And technically, I just found I couldn't go above into an award range, because technically it's very average. It's a competent composition, but then taking on board, and I suspect that I understand how difficult these creatures are to photograph. I'm wondering if it could be shot on a drone, on a stick from a boat, put underwater, or it could be somebody in the water. Don't know. The color is a little bit drab, but then that is, if it's in Norway, then that's going to be the legitimate color. So I'm trying to, in my mind, decide whether there should be a much more award given for the actual documentation of the moment and how much of the score goes towards the technical aspect or the photography. Because what we're looking at here is sort of like a clash of two things. One is the technical aspect of the photography, and the other is the narrative nature of what the image is. I'll go up. I definitely think I will award it because I agree with Diana, the difficulty of this image, but I don't know how high I can go because I feel that, you know, the high range, that the gold range is reserved for not only a great shot of a great moment, but it needs to also be great photography executed really well. But certainly maybe somewhere in between those is where it should sit.
Christy, you're in the, yeah, thanks, Tony. Sorry. Christy, you were in silver range. Do you have anything you want to add to the discussion?
You know, it's funny because at first when I saw this photo, I was thinking of, oh, maybe the color tone, maybe this or that. But then the more I let myself feel, the more it feels like what you would experience as a diver. Like not all those perfect colors, but this is what it would look like. And I love the arch and how it goes on to the description of basically what the ocean floor looks like there with the rocks. And then I love how it's framed with the fish on the bottom. I love all the scars on the killer whales on the backside of the, I'm sorry, yeah, if you look by the dorsal fin, you'll see a ton of scars, which tells a huge story. So for me, it feels like a very real image, and that some of the compositional elements as well as the tonal range is deliberate because that's what it felt like to the photographer.
Fantastic. Thank you, Diana. Would you like to make your live reply?
Well, yes, I think I absolutely agree with that. That is what it would have looked like underwater. That is what, you know, the diver would have seen at the time. And the drab colors, it is what it is. You know, you can't change what is nature. But I think that the energy with those fish at the bottom, I think it really brings it to life. And it is just as the diver would have seen it. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you, Diana. You're hold at 91, the gold award. Everybody else can rescore, please. We have come up quite a way to 84 in silver, very solid silver. So great discussion, lots of really great expertise from right across our judging panel there. So thank you very much and well done to the intro. I'm going to make a couple of changes here. Diana, I'm going to get you to step off and I'll bring Jasmine back in. And Joe, I'll get you to have a rest and we'll bring Nuran back in. I have our next image, please.
Okay, there's no title for this image, but it does have a context statement, and that is Harlequin Ghost Pipefish, Bali, Indonesia.
We have an outscore of 82, a silver award, and Nuran is straight away in there with the challenge. He is at 88 in a silver distinction. You have 83 and 82 and 2 in the highly commended range. So Nuran, take it away.
Judges, like this image when it comes, and first of all, like impact is amazing, you know, like and also we see this sort of specimens as not in this sort of form, and I love the nature of that, actually that line, how is actually like diving deep, and the background related to images works quite nicely as well. Lots of highlights, but the thing is like all flow is actually work harmoniously in here. And the eye is slightly not sharp, but if it's sharper, I would have gone to the gold level. But I like to hear what the other judge is going to say. And definitely needs to go higher than 82 for my liking.
Nice, thanks very much. Harriet, you're in the highly commended range. Can we get a comment from you?
Yeah, as you said, Nuran, it's a very high impact as soon as it pops up on the screen, very striking. There are, those highlights are pretty distracting for me. And I feel like the crop is just a little bit tight because of the very, very dark background. The two objects within the frame seem quite jarring, and I actually really I love the way that they're talking to each other. The flora and the fauna kind of, the animal and the plant life are kind of talking to each other within the image, but because of the really black background, it feels a little jarring to me. But I'm listening, and I'd love to hear what the other judges have to say.
Thanks, Harriet. Tony, you are on 82, a good silver. What would you like to add to the conversation?
I could almost replay everything Harriet said, and for those reasons go to 82. I think the capture, it looks like it's been really well handled, but I think the editing, perhaps holding back the highlights, holding back, so it's holding back the highlights, expanding that right-hand side. It is far too close to the edge. It kind of diminishes the ability of that creature to be sort of set out as the hero, because what's happening is the coral in the background is starting to look like the hero. There's a bit of highlight on that coral as well, which sort of draws us away. So I think the capture and what they've got on file is fantastic. I think the way it's been presented has let it down a little bit. So I feel like it was a 82 mid-silver with a lot of potential.
Thanks, Tony. Nuran, if you'll give us your right of reply.
I think everything's safe, but the thing is, this crop is actually like a work for this image because of that the yellowness of that entire like a specimen is like just like empathy with that crop as well alone. But 3 more points, guys, please. Looking forward to see the final score.
Thanks, Nuran. Your score holds at 88, and everyone else, please rescore. And it holds at 82, and a very good silver award. Some great comments from right across our judging panel there. Harriet, I might give you a little bit of a break here and bring Ben back on. And if we have our next image, please.
The title of this image is Ice Leopard, and the context statement, Leopard Seal Antarctica.
And we have an announced score of 84, a silver award. But I think we may have, do we have? Yes, we have. Tony's got his hand up straight away. He's on 88. Tony, you have support there on 86 and also 83, 84, and another highly commended. Please take it away.
Okay. If there was a little more highlight in the eyes and some of that dark area on the flanks, I would have been in a gold, mid-gold, maybe even close to distinction. This image has impact. This leopard seal, if you've ever been to Antarctica and you understand the danger of swimming with leopard seals, they are fast and they do launch an attack. And the use of the lens and the perspective that's given to us here, the control of the tones, the positioning of the animal right in the center of the frame screams that this is a launch. It feels like this animal is coming at you. They are ferocious. They are one of the apex predators in Antarctica. I mean, the orca is probably at the top, but this is one of the ones that the seals and the penguins all fear the most. And it's a horrible thing to see when you see one of these take out a penguin or a seal. But this is just you in the face, raw documentary of a living creature in the wild, done in a way that does not give you anywhere else to look but at that animal and understand the fear that might come with being a smaller animal, a defenseless animal, and this thing's coming after you. You've got very little chance of survival. Done in black and white adds drama. The noise or the grain. I mean, yeah, we live in the digital age and we look at it and we go, oh, yeah, there's noise. Hey, if this was 30 years ago and shot on 1600 or 3200 T-Max, you know, we just go, oh, what a fantastic image. Imagine being in the water with it. I'm at 88 and a part of me feels like, did I punish the photographer too much just for the fact that the eyes look look a little bit too dark. Maybe this is worthy of a gold. Part of me still feels like it is, but it's definitely worth a lot more than 84 in my opinion.
Thanks very much, Tony. Jasmine, you were right on the around the average there on 83.
Yeah, look, Tony, I would have gone up to gold if some of the technicalities for me were just finessed a little bit better, because I agree with you, there's absolutely impact as soon as you see it. It's like, oh, it's coming to me, and that would be terrifying and amazing. But the technicality, it just feels over sharpened, and we do have the ability to get rid of the noise and to clean up the distractions of the white dots and the up the top of the water breaking, and also down the bottom with the rocks. Like, I just feel like if it had been handled just a little bit better, then I would have gone much higher. I wanted to give this more, but I just felt like the darkness in the eyes and all of those things put together, I just couldn't go higher personally.
Thanks so much, Jasmine. Benjamin, you're right on the average at 84.
Yeah, I think for me, I started when I first saw this, I started on an 88, and then I sort of had a look in, and I guess the biggest technicality that got me down was that darkness on the lip. But then I'm kind of glad I've now got another chance to look at this image for a little bit longer. I love how that image is a landscape. Without the seal in there, I think that would be an award-winning image. It's so beautiful. That landscape is just absolutely gorgeous. I would have no idea that's underwater, apart from the water above it. But that movement in that water above this ice seal is showing me that this thing's currently moving, I think. Like, look at that water is just coming up, like, and then this little thing of bubbles over there, you can see there's so much movement happening here. Terrifying to be in that situation, but then getting that shot, like, whoa, that's really good. That definitely, being able to get a shot that sharp is absolutely amazing. I think I think I'm the same, Tony. I think I would love to have given it a gold, but there was just a couple of little technicalities there that held me back. I will come up to silver distinction though, because that is where I started, and I've been convinced.
Fantastic. Thanks, Ben. Christy, also you're in silver distinction. Do you want to talk in support of the image?
Yes, I was at the 86 and I love this. And I found that the grain, like Tony was saying, does add to that feel. Like, it adds to an old film feel. It doesn't feel too much like digital grain. But I also wanted to point out just the perfection of the lines and on the rocks. They point towards the beautiful leopard seal, and so does that one up in the top. Like, everything points in, like it's this arrow, and shows that movement. It's got personality, it's got skill, it's got so much feel to it. I definitely think that this is underscored. I think it should go up to either silver with distinction or gold.
Tony, would you like to have your writer reply, please?
Yeah, again, I respect everybody's comments immensely. I'm not sure about the worry about the noise. I think noise is sometimes I feel like noise is given a bad rap, because sometimes it just means so much more. To have this, if this was sterile and clean and there was zero noise in it at all, I feel like it would just feel manufactured. The water surface, it adds a reality to it. The leading lines has been pointed out. The turbulence just under the edge of the surface of the water, you can see this cloudiness. When you're up there and you're sitting in a zodiac and you're watching these animals, you could be right next to the reef or right next to the coast, the rocks, and the water is moving really fast. And there's a lot of bubbles and stuff going on. That's real. There's a degree of difficulty here that I think absolutely needs to be rewarded. This isn't an animal in a zoo. This isn't someone sitting through a fish tank. This is the wilderness. This is one of the last wildernesses on Earth. There's a true sense of place, and that's the sort of the elements within the image give us the sense of barrenness that Antarctica is. This is an emotive documentary image of reality, and I think the photographer's done an incredible job. And I really do feel like anything lower than mid silver distinction is not right. But even a gold, I would be quite happy to see this as a gold and think it would be well deserving of such, even though I'm sitting on 88.
Thanks, Tony. Yeah, look, I've heard a lot of people talk about power, and so I'd like to make a panel mentors challenge on this, just to give everybody the opportunity to go over and have a think and have a relook at the image and what's been talked about, and give everybody the opportunity to rescore it, not just what's locked in. So really think about the words and talking about the power and the emotion and what we talk about in the scoring ranges, and allow everybody to give them the opportunity again to rescore. So Mel, if we're able to do that. Just waiting on Nuran, your score. You rescore it for us, please. Go on.
And I'm not allowed to. I still have the 84 mark in here. Doesn't let me.
Fix, Nuran. It's showing up that you're not connected presently. Hit reload fix.
Sorry, reload. Yes, thank you.
And we do have a gold award at 90. What a great panel discussion. Congratulations to the entrant, and fantastic discussions from all of our judges. A great range of opinion, expertise, and great to hear, really impassioned debate. So well done to everybody on that one. I am going to give Christia a quick break and bring Diana back onto the panel. And we can have the next image, please.
Okay, the title of this image is Up in My Gills, and the context, Port Jackson Shark, Sydney.
We have very consistent scoring across the range with an 80 at silver. Congratulations to the entrant. Jasmine, can I get you to make a comment on this image for the entrant, please?
Yeah, sure. I actually really want to congratulate the photographer for showing us a different kind of crop and presenting it in this way. The color's beautiful. I think to improve the image, I would definitely maybe lighten the darkness around the bottom left-hand side. But yeah, beautiful tone. I actually really enjoyed this image.
Thank you so much, Jasmine. We'll have a look at the next image, please.
Okay, the title of this image is Mussel Beds, and the context, Southern Keeled Octopus, Mornington Peninsula, Victoria.
We have a score, an out score of 79, a highly commended. And Benjamin has put a challenge in. Ben, I've got calling you by your full name. Sounds like you're in trouble. Ben, you're an 83. You have an 81 with you, and also 3 judges in the highly commended range. So take it away for me.
I usually am in trouble, Ben or Benjamin, but yeah. I enjoyed this image because of the little story and the narrative that I see. This guy's just had a meal. He's sitting there. He's like, yum. Just going to do some yoga or something like that. I don't know. Technically, it's beautifully captured. The lighting is really nice. The composition, I can't fault it. And for that, I gave it a solid silver. I encourage you to sort of relook at it. We're not too far off at 79. And just tell me what you think it doesn't deserve a silver for.
Thanks. Jasmine, you're very close to the silver range there on 79.
Yeah, look, I think I will come up. I was really on the fence about going up, and I just think the feeling and the lighting is really, really beautifully done. Like it's handled very, very well. And yeah, I think what was holding me back was maybe the eye around the eye was maybe not as sharp as it could be, but the overall feeling of it is really, really beautiful.
Thanks so much, Desmond. Diana, do you have anything you want to add quickly to this? Right?
I feel that it could probably have done with a massive crop. I think that's what has held me back mostly. I think the octopus, I appreciate the front arm is probably coming out to do something, which is why it's out of focus. But I find that a little bit distracting in this image. And the eye is sharpish. I wouldn't say that it's okay, but I think it falls off too quickly. That's my take on it.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Diana. Benjamin, you're right to reply on 83.
I think the eye is probably, in terms of what's sharp in the image, is probably one of the sharpest things. If you zoom in, of course, it's not going to be 100%. But just in that regard, like I think that lighting is just so perfect. To have none of that bright light hitting the muscles is quite, spectacular. I don't know if you could have done this with light yourself, or it's just happened to be that way. But I like the crop how it is, because it shows that it isn't a mussel bed. And I know that octopus like to eat mussels, right? And so this guy's just had a meal, and he's just chilling. He's like, yeah, I'm just having a siesta now. I'm just going to have a little bit of a nap. And I like that. I like the cuteness of that story, and it's just technically done beautifully.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Ben. Your score 83 holds. Everybody else, please rescore. And we have an 81 and the silver award. Congratulations. Another great discussion. Thank you very much, everybody. Tony, we're going to get you to have a well-earned break here. And Jasmine also going to have a break. And I'm going to bring back Harriet. I'm going to bring back Joe. We'll have the next image, please.
Okay, the title of this is Snout and About, and the context, weedy sea dragon among kelp, Botany Bay, Sydney, Australia.
We have an announced score of 79. I highly commend it. I think we might have a little bit more discussion about this. Anybody else? Yes, Ben's got his hand up there. The challenge is he's on 86, a silver with distinction. You have some support on Diana's on 83. We also have 3 others in the highly commended. So let's have a chat about this one.
Cool. Wow, striking image to start off with. And I don't know why I went to Pingu and Newt. Such a snoot. Love it. That's fantastic. But yeah, the eye, there's a lot of detail in it. I know that maybe one of the things that some judges may have brought it down for would be the sharpness of that eye. But I would like to say that that eye is actually the sharpest part of the image. And so I don't know, for whatever reason, I have forgiven it. I didn't give it an 89 or a 90 because of that. That's why I gave it an 86. But then I sort of looked a little bit further, and the way that your eye moves through this image, and it's got that infinity symbol, like the figure 8. If you look at the tail of this thing and you go up, you go to its eye, down its snout, then and up through like the seaweed stuff, and then it goes back to its eye, and it just keeps on going back to it. And it's that I really love about this image, the lighting being focused on this beautiful creature. At least it deserves a silver. A silver distinction would be fantastic, but it's definitely not under an 80 in my opinion.
Thanks very much. Joe, you were just at the high end of highly commended there.
Yeah, I was I find this image challenging because of that lack of critical sharpness. I can't see it anywhere in the frame, so I think that's just a restriction of the technology that's used to take the image. I enjoy the balance of the sunlight or light in the background and the light on the side of the sea dragon, but that extreme wide angle, I find it quite challenging to rest my eye anywhere without that sharpness. And also, you know, I want to see some focus in those mouth parts, or if it's not focused, just a little bit more detail in there to allow me to stay on the face of this animal, as the brightest part seems to be the side of the body rather than the eye itself. But I am listening because I really wanted to bring this one up, and I'm ready to be convinced.
Thanks, Joe. Diana, you're on 83. You're in support there.
Yeah. So I'm pretty certain this weedy sea dragon's been shot with an EMWL, which is an expensive macro wide lens. So the idea of this lens is that you can shoot macro with a fisheye perspective, and when it's put, into this angle with an animal, and you get that exaggerated look, I think it's a great look because it's different to anything else that you see out there. So I really enjoy it. I think I would have come up higher if the eye had been sharper, but I do think that it deserves, because they've got a wonderful angle on it, and I can assure you, getting in front of these things to photograph them, the butt shot is the easy shot, but to get that lens, pulled around in front of it, is quite challenging, and I've tried many times. So I think the weed behind it, or the kelp behind it's a little bit distracting, but it is what it is. Again, that is where they live underwater. But I think if I was sharper, I would have come up much higher. But I think that it's that exaggerated look, I think, is well done.
Thanks, Diana. Ben, you'll give you your right of reply.
Yeah, I think if you were to get that focus on the mouth and the eye be out of focus, you got the focus, it's right on the eye. Well, I think the focus is on the eye. And for whatever reason, this EMWL lens, I think it's done a great job. I just thought it was a regular lens, and this thing just had a really, really long snout. I love that it's been exaggerated, because that is this dude, and it's in its home. It's just come out to have a little bit of a sus. I think technically it's as good as it could have gotten, and I think compositionally it's so beautiful. It's definitely worth the silver, at least.
Thanks, Ben. Your score of 86 holds. We're currently on 79. Everyone, please rescore. And we have come up into silver, and 82. Well done to the entrant. Thank you very much to all of our judges. I'm going to give Nuran a quick break, and Christy, I'll get you to come back onto the panel. We'll have the next image, please.
Okay, this image is titled Aliens of the Gulf, and the context: Australian giant cuttlefish, Upper Spencer Gulf, South Australia.
We have an outscore of 85, a silver with distinction. But I think we're going to have a challenge here. Do we want to challenge this image, anybody? Joe, I think we might get you to have a challenge at this one. She hit the wrong button, I think.
Yeah, I did.
You're on 91 in the gold range. You do have a judge at 86 with you, and two judges at 86 actually, and some silver. So let's have a chat about this image.
Look, can I, when this image went through in the run through, I was just like, ooh, I want to see that one up close. I want to be able to dive in and, pardon the pun, and look around at all the detail that you see amongst here. These cuttlefish, an image that's often presented in the awards, and over the years, there's been lots of them, but this one is particularly good in the fact that you've got some really naturalistic tones that are coming through there. It's not overly done. There's beautiful balance between those light rays in the background and the light that the photographer's adding to the scene. You've got a great wide angle view with a really clear central subject, but you've got all these competing, well, they're not competing, you've got all these companion animals that are around it, and they're arranged in such a beautiful way that talk to the behavior that these animals are displaying at this point when they're coming in for their breeding grounds. And you've got sharpness on those, I mean, I want to call them tentacles, I don't think they're tentacles, legs, whatever you want to call them at the front, right through to the eyes and the tip of the tail of the main subject. And the way that the forms are in this image and how they move together beautifully, like they're in their own little dance. And that one lone little cuttlefish that's up in the top left-hand corner is almost soft in a dreamlike way. There's just something really special about this image, and I want to hear what you guys are missing from this to bring it up into that gold category.
Thanks, Joe. Let's have a chat to our judge. Diana, I might get you to talk to this image. You're on 81.
Yes. Obviously this is Whyalla, and just a quick byline here. Whyalla's been shut down this year after the algal bloom, and I don't know whether these creatures have been wiped out. So this could be a historical shot now. It's a very nice shot with the five cuttlefish in there. I appreciate that. I feel it's a little bit dark. I feel that the colors of the cuttlefish haven't been brought out enough, and a little extra strobe would have helped that along. I really like the sunbeams in the back. And again, it's about one of those things, how many cuttlefish can you get in a single shot? And I think they've done well there. Too dark on the left-hand side for me, but no, it's a very nice shot. Yeah, and like I said, it could be something of the past now, so we need to enjoy it while we see it.
Thanks, Diana. Harriet, you're on 86, very close to the average there. I might get you to have a chat about it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to come up a little bit more as well. I think it's beautiful. For me, as a non-underwater photographer, I do not see it as too dark. I actually think it's really subtle. I feel like it could be like a moody overland picture. Like, I think the balance of light is really beautiful. There's no highlights at all anywhere. I think that dreamy cuttlefish on the left-hand side is stunning. I feel like for someone looking at this species that doesn't know them intimately, I really feel like I see the pack, and I see the animal behavior, and I see the way they interact with each other. There's that one in the back on the right that's kind of up and looking in, and the other guy's kind of hanging out down the front, and the dreamy one on the left-hand side. I really feel like I'm getting a sense of what these animals do and how they behave with each other. That is really drawing me in. I also love the foliage all around the outside and how it's almost like we're creeping into their domain a little bit, and sneaking a peek. So yeah, I think I'm going to come up. I think it's beautiful.
Thanks, Harriet. Joe, we'll have your right of reply, please.
There's my mute button. Yeah, I'm not really hearing anything that's super negative in there. I think that Diana, with your addressing the darkness of the image, I think if you look at the density of that water, I think it speaks to the realism of what this scene would be like for the photographer to have experienced it. And when you talk about the struggles that this species is facing, I think that darkness on the left, you've just given an extra element to the story with, you can say that darkness is creeping in, and it talks more to their struggle of what this species is up against. And I mean, sitting and drinking in more of that detail. The main cuttlefish there, and you can see that there's the scarring and the patterns that are through its face just under its eye shows, you know, more about the battles that they face and their behavior when they're hanging out in a group doing all their stuff. And I just think it's a really strong image, and I think that the photographers should be rewarded for the subtlety and the realism that they've placed in there. It's almost like they're having a group little sleepover with their eyes closed. I really just, the more time I spend with it, the more I enjoy it, and I really encourage you guys to come up into that gold and give this image a great score.
Thanks, Joe. Joe's score of 91 will hold, and everybody else, please rescore the image. We have very solid scoring right across the range there. It's got a 90 and a gold. Congratulations to the entrant. Another great panel discussion. Thank you so much, everybody, for all your opinions. We're going to bring Ben off the panel and bring Jasmine back on for this one. And we'll have the next image, please.
Yeah, the title of this image is Facing a Giant, and our context, up close and personal with a giant cuttlefish in Whyalla, South Australia, mating season.
We have a score of 77, are highly commended. Anybody like to, right, who wants to make a comment? Everybody wants to make a comment here. Joe, I might get you to make a comment on this image if that's okay.
Wonderful. I want to compliment the photographer on like just being right in front of this subject and manage to catch your focus on, you know, the beautiful details that are visible above the eyes there. The direction of the light is great, but it's just a bit hot in this image, and we're starting to lose some of the detail in the highlights. So if you pulled those back and brought the image down a little bit in its exposure, I think it would score a bit higher, and maybe you'd get rid of some of that washed out look. But really well done on getting up nice and close to this beautiful creature.
Thanks. And Diana, do you want to add something very quickly right on the image?
Sorry, no, I basically agree with Joe. I feel like it's been perhaps a little bit over sharpened around the eye and around the skirt, just towards the back of it there a little bit.
And thanks very much. Great comments for the entrant. I am going to give you a little bit of a rest and bring Tony back onto the panel. And we'll have our next image, please.
Okay, there's no title for this image, but there is some context. A small common nudibranch sea slug rests in the darkness of unsunken wrecks, Lambert, Indonesia.
We have an announced score of 80 and silver. Tony, you wish to tell? Yes, Tony's got his hand up. Tony's on 86. You have 2 judges on 80 and 2 in the highly commended range.
There's a lot of things to enjoy about this picture. First of all, the clarity and the cleanliness of the color. So not necessarily clarity in terms of water, although it doesn't look too bad, but just the cleanliness of the color. It's just so rich. Nudibranchs are very, very small. I don't know how big this one is, but they could be as small as the size of a thumbnail. And it's nicely lit. and we see the true color of that animal, which if you've ever been diving and you've gone down without artificial lighting, they can look quite dull. But what really makes this image sing is the background. The use of the shadow underneath the reef to give us a relief, if you like, or allow the nudibranch to stand out. And then you've got this dramatic deep blue, or this bluey dark sort of mystical type of look. You might want to buy into the pareidolia of looking like a creature with jaws and all of that fear of the top. But what I'm taking away from the image is that when you go diving and you go underwater, you can look down and it just looks like it's dark greys and greens and muddy blues, and there's nothing really pretty down there. But then when you go down and you really start to look and you know what you're looking for, you can find these little pockets of jewels, these little jewels that are hidden down in the depths. And I think that's what the photographers brought to us here in a very, very simple, clean way. The nudibranch, the front of the nudibranch with its exposed gills, the horns are it's sharp enough. It's sharp enough. It doesn't need to be over sharpened. I think they've done it really well. The cleanliness of the white in an underwater scene. So for me, this is a very simple image, which please don't misunderstand. This is not an easy image to capture. And yet when we look at it, it looks so simple and clean. And perhaps we overlook that because I think the drama that's in the background with the beauty and the fragility in the foreground tells a much deeper story for underwater photography.
Thanks very much, Tony. Joe, you're in highly commended range. Would you like to speak to the image?
Yeah, I have this as highly commended for all the reasons that Tony mentioned. And there's just a few parts that are holding me back from going higher, but I am listening. There's just where I agree that the colours are done well, and there's great detail through the his namesake appendages, but I'm finding that the light is the direction of the light on our subject is coming almost from underneath rather than above, and I'm getting a lot of that. The lighting is hitting along the side of the creature, and I wish that more had actually fallen onto its little external lungs there. And on the right, we've got an element that's coming in that's sort of cut off just in the side, and I just feel like an extra little crop in from that side would have really sort of made it feel a bit more considered. But I mean, what you're saying about the matching of the light and the color and that face shape in the background is great, and the simple little pose. So I am listening.
Thanks, Joe. Christy, you're also within the highly commended range.
I do want to make a quick comment on how just to be mindful of the way that you're titling your images, because I found that the title itself is talking about a sea slug resting in darkness, but yet the maker's chosen to put a whole bunch of light on it. And so for me, it was a different story than what it was described as. So I would just be a little bit more careful with making a title that actually matches the narrative of the image.
Tony, you're right to reply?
Yeah, I love the way Christy judges. I always have. I found that really intriguing because I actually found the title suited it because it is in the darkness, and that's what I meant when I said it's sitting up against the darkness of that wreck, that feature in the background. And then they've brought the light to show us what's in the darkness of that background, because obviously without the light, we would never see this little creature. And it's just such a beautiful little, they are such a small little thing that and they're not always easy to find. So I come back to something I said earlier. We often go and zoom in on pictures and we're looking for critical sharpness and noise. And I sit back and I look at this picture and I thought, what an absolutely beautiful, clean, magical color image telling me the story of this tiny little jewel of a creature and all its beautiful colors and you know, I can't think of the word, but the beautiful color and that hidden up against or sitting up against this big dramatic landscape or backdrop of the wreck, looking up at the sky. Yeah, look, I hear what I forget who said it about the light coming in from the side. It doesn't bother me. Yes, would it be better coming from a slightly higher direction? Possibly. But I think I've said enough. I don't want to dribble on. I just find that this image, when I step back and look at it, the impact and the narrative and the story behind it is so truthful, honest, poignant, and allows me to really understand what's going on down in those depths. That's why I felt like it was worthy of a little more than just a straight silver.
Fantastic. Tony, your score will hold. If everyone else could rescore, please. That's gained a point. Every point counts, and this one will be especially important for the entrance. So thanks very much. An 81 and a silver award. Thanks very much, everybody. I'm going to give Christy a quick rest and bring Nuran onto the panel. And I almost might give Joe a quick rest as well and bring and bring Benjamin back onto the panel. And I'm going to, sorry, I meant to click off Harriet. There we go. Okay, next image, please.
All right, this image is titled Harbour Watcher, and its context, moray eel in wharf pylon, Sydney Harbour, Sydney, Australia.
Waiting on one final score here. If I could just grab your score, please. Still waiting on your score, Joe. Sorry.
Sorry, I thought I'd been taken off the panel.
No. We have an announced score of 84, a silver award. I think we might have a rush for the button here, and Joey's first to it. Slow off the mark, but first straight down to the thing. So she's on 88. You'll have another judge on 88 and 3 others in silver. So take it away, Joe.
Well, I'm really glad that I was able to judge this image. When I saw this go around in the walkthrough, I was like, oh, that one just jumps straight out of you. I mean, look at that face. It's all things weird and wonderful from under the sea. You've got that eye just jumps at you and it's sharp as can be, which is fantastic to see. And then you get this, it's almost like there's 2 images of one. It looks like it's stuck together, but that's just through the control of the light. And then you've got these mysterious sort of pylons that are curving out in the background and that beautiful little halo of light. I think it's just a really well put together portrait that's a little bit spooky and a little bit kooky. And I would love to see some reasons why we can't bring it up a little bit higher, because I believe it should be in the silver with distinction.
Thanks, Joe. Tony, you're on 81.
Yeah, and I was a bit light on. I'm glad it got challenged. I do have a problem with the nose of the eel sort of corresponding with the very edge of the reef, and I think it's a shame that that sort of is right in right on top of each other, because it's right where the highlight is too. So we get drawn straight to that highlight. But and just to the author, if you get the chance, I know it's hard when you're moving around underwater, but to just go to the right or left, we would have had a slightly stronger picture. But everything else Joe said, yeah, she's right, and I'll forgive that a little bit and push myself up into the next range.
Thanks, Tony. Jasmine, you're also on 88.
Yeah, I just love the rainbow of colours that are being shown to us at great depths, which shows great technical ability. It's definitely highly refined and distinctive image. I really, really think this should come up to silver distinction.
And Joe, your right of reply.
I'm just going to say, I understand what Tony's saying about the nose overlapping and where that highlight is, but I think that that somehow joins the background with the foreground, the background with the subject, and you've got quite a circular highlight going on there, which is represent like repeated in the circle of the eye. So I think, is it perfect? No, but it can work together, and I think that it's not enough for me to take it out of that silver distinction range. And you know, if you want to go even higher, feel free to. I'm sure the photographer would love it.
Thanks very much, Joe. Joe's on 88. The current score is 84. Please, judges, rescore. And very consistent scores right across the range. We have an 87 with a silver distinction. Thank you to everybody who did that. Now I'm going to take you off the panel, Joe, and bring Diana back on there. And we'll have our next image, please.
Okay, the title of this image is Hidden in the Stars, and our context, pot-bellied seahorse, Mornington Peninsula, Victoria.
Oh, that's a very quick, consistent scoring. We have an 86 and a silver with distinction. However, I do believe we're going to have, yes, there it is, a challenge from Mr. Ben Liu on 92. You have a score at 87 and then some other quite strong silvers in there, Ben. So take it away.
Talk me down. I don't think you can. I'm going to try and talk you up. Wow, this is so beautiful. This image is one of those, it's just so striking immediately. And it got me looking, and I'm still looking. I'm still finding new things. Like the focus is right there on this beautiful pot-bellied seahorse. And you see exactly where it is. Like it's in this, these starfish, right? It's right there. And it's got this little, you know, it's got those muscles. You got it's in its home. It's just chilling. And these guys are supposed to be shy. They most definitely are. It's just art. This is such a gorgeous image. I don't know how to fault it, actually. If I can only say good things about it, I'll say more in my writer reply, but I'd like to know why it only got a 86 and not in the 90s.
Thanks, Ben. Tony, you're on 81. Silver.
Yeah, I recognise the context and the narrative, and I can see the seahorse hidden in the starfish, and I agree that part of it's been really well captured. And it may be a rare picture to get. All of those reasons, I gave it an 81. However, to give something a gold or a silver distinction, for me, I'm looking at expertise in other areas, composition, narrative, aesthetic. I find that there's too much distraction all along the bottom and around the edge. Now, yes, that's there, but you know, the photographer to get the gold is the one who finds the shot where all of those things don't become a problem. I find the area on the right is just got that, you got the hole through the starfish legs, which becomes distracting. Along the bottom, it's got this sort of unresolved messiness, which, yes, I know it's all part of the context, etc., but it takes away from what would have been a stunning image. For instance, if that starfish or if that pot-bellied seahorse was only in the starfish and there was nothing else in the background except starfish, this would have been an incredible picture, an absolute piece of art. But in this context, I think, yes, well seen, well captured, but not an award, not a gold medal award-winning picture. A silver award, yes, for the reasons I said, not a gold for the reasons I said.
Thanks very much, Tony. We've also got some support in silver distinction. Nuran, you're at 87 there.
Everything said, like I agree with both Tony and Ben. But the thing is that's for reason. Like I just second that one for Tony. If like all the elements are actually, it's not there when available right now, and would have been gold. But I'm happy with where it stands.
Thanks, Nuran. Benjamin, I'll get you. And I called him Benjamin again. You're on 92. Do you want to give your right of reply again?
I challenged Tony to talk me down, and he accepted. But no, I stand by my 92 for sure. And it's all those things that you didn't like in the image that for me, for whatever reason, just really brought it up. And it's just if you look at the images, it all brings you back in to this little seahorse, like, you know, in its little home. I think it's a great portrait of this little guy. There's nothing in it that distracts me or detracts me from this thing, apart from the narrative that I see. Technically, it's gorgeous. I love that messiness and everything. It's just such a beautifully well captured image. At least until silver distinction goes.
Thanks, Ben. Your score at 92 holds. We're currently at 86. Judges, please rescore. And it's stayed at 86, but a great discussion from amongst all our judges, and very well done. I'm going to give Tony a rest here, and also Jasmine. I'm going to bring Harriet back on, and Christy as well. And let's have our next image, please.
The title of this image is Open, Waiting and Watching. And a context, Port Jackson shark with open mouth, Botany Bay, Sydney, Australia.
Just waiting on your score, Diana.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
We have a score of 84, a silver award. However, straight away, the fastest hand in the West, Harriet, has challenging. She's on 87. You do have support at silver distinction at 85 and 3 quite solid silvers. So let's have a discussion.
Yeah, this is, I mean, so impactful, right? As soon as it came up, I mean, I actually just kind of fell back a little bit. Just really, really impactful. What I'm really enjoying about this image is I'm seeing something that I don't normally see, and I'm learning about this animal, and that's really exciting. I'm learning about the species just from this one vantage point. It's been held really well. It's been, the simplicity is something that I really enjoy about it. And I'm just like, when you move in and just look at every single little scale, it's just, there's real beauty within this really ugly, ugly picture. Ugly in the best possible way. So I think it is, strong concept, elevated execution, originality, emotional response, absolutely. So I really love to hear what the other judges think of it and why they didn't get it into that silver distinction category.
Yeah, thanks, Harriet. I have got, let's have a look. Christy, I might get you to make a comment. You're on silver on 82.
Yes, and I'm super glad, Harriet, that you challenged it, because it is something I've never seen before, in the textures that have come out and the way that the lighting emphasizes the textures. I think for me, sometimes I get stuck up on little things, and the fact that it's just a little bit off of center, and I just wish that there was just a little bit of a shift to the photographer's left, so that that symmetry was a little bit more honored. But that's me being super nitpicky, and I'm glad that you've challenged it.
Thanks, Christy. Diana, you're on 85 in silver distinction. Would you like to talk?
Yeah, I feel that it's a very unique shot of a Port Jackson shark. And I can imagine that the photographer went down going, this is the shot that I want. And it might have taken them a while to actually go down there and finally get it. And I mean, who would know what the inside of the mouth of a Port Jackson shark looked like unless you had him on a bench in a laboratory, you know? I think it's really cute. You say he's ugly. Well, yeah, he is, but he's really cute too. I'm really enjoying this shot. I love the textures, the scales, and all the texture to go around it. Yeah, I really like this one. Yeah.
Fantastic. And Harriet will give you a right of reply.
Yeah, ugly beautiful, ugly beautiful. Ugly doesn't need to be a bad word. Yeah, I mean, I don't know quite what else to say. I think hopefully people will come up. We're 1 point away from silver distinction. I think it absolutely deserves it. Yes, one step to the left would have been amazing. That would have made it gold. But at the moment, it's just a beautifully captured original image that certainly deserves silver distinction.
Well, Harriet, your score is going to hold at 87. We're currently on 84. Judges, please rescore the image. And we've got there. It's an 85, a silver with distinction. Great discussion. 1 point makes all the difference sometimes. So congratulations to the entrant. I'm going to bring Benjamin off. He's going to be terrible. And I'll bring Joe back on for this image. And we can have the next image, please.
Okay, the title of this image is Cuttlefish Mating. And the context to cuttlefish mating, Whyalla, South Australia, during the mating season.
And we have a score of 80, a silver award. Congratulations to the entrant. I might get Joe just to make a quick comment on this one, if that's all right.
I get all the cattlefishes. Yeah, it's a great little moment and a great educational image showing us and explaining what the behaviour is that we're seeing. They get a little bit lost in the scene. I think a tighter crop would have helped bring the attention into where all the action is happening. And also there's it seems like there's been a little bit of sharpening used on your subjects that are a little bit hot. So just a little bit of a less heavy-handed approach to bringing sharpness through your subject in post-production would help benefit. But I really enjoy the warmth of this and some great directional lighting. Well done.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And drum roll, please. That was the last image in our category. Congratulations to all the entrants, to all of our judges. There's amazing work, brilliant images. Congratulations to everyone. It's so fantastic to see what you've given us. A huge thank you to all of tonight's judges. It's so great to hear so many people of great experience, different genres, different approaches, and the passion that you bring to it. So thank you very much to Ben Liu, not Benjamin, Diana Fernie, Harriet Tarbuck, Jasmine Skysmith, Joe Howell, Christy Odom, Nuran Zorlu, and Tony Hewitt. I also like to give a massive thanks to Mel Sinclair for some of the best pronunciations of some pretty weird words in there tonight, and her general organisation, obviously to our competition director, Daniel Bingham, and our broadcast director, Nathan Bingham. Thank you also to our audience for tuning in and joining us to celebrate everything that's in photography. Join us tomorrow. I am pretty sure when I look up there that we have two really great sessions. The creative landscape and the travel section are coming up tomorrow. So, and don't miss them. Also, don't forget to tune in to the awards ceremony. That's on Thursday, the 13th of August, to find out all the announcement of the winners. Thanks so much to everybody for a great section, and we'll see you soon.
Wow, photographing the way I do, but with my colors, this will change everything.
I got to see each frame, each position of its wing, and they're so beautiful that I have never seen before.
Being able to move quickly and working at my brain's pace and getting those shots in the moment. Having this camera allows you to go out and create the way you want to create.
Until you use it, you cannot even imagine what you have missed.
It's something I've never seen before in my entire life. It's something totally different.
Nikon Z6 III. Outperform.
Introducing ISO Color Edge. Precision is essential for any professional working with images. Whether you're an artist, a retoucher, or a visual effects specialist, you need to know that what you see at the start of a project is precisely what you'll get at the end. Color Edge monitors give consistent, reliable accuracy that guarantee no surprises within your color workflow. So what you see in real life is what you see on screen, and what you see on screen is what you see in real life. That's precisely why professionals all over the world trust ISO Color Edge for their image creation. ISO Color Edge. Discover living, breathing color.
I'm Mark Rizzito from the Professional Photography Business Network.
A vibrant community from all around the world who's here to supercharge your business growth.
This is not an expensive one-size-fits-all course.
The PPBN is a network,
An online educational platform with training and resources to suit everyone.
from those just starting out to the seasoned pros.
You can tailor your journey to suit your individual business needs and challenges, all at your own pace.
And there's new content added every week. But success is only part of the experience.
To us, community is super important, as we all know business can be lonely.
So join us today. PPBN is your unfair advantage. Let's do this.